AJ Caldwell. I'm here with my boy Owen Kenny over at Top Tier Iowa State. Welcome back to the studio. We are live on TikTok and on YouTube today, so we appreciate you guys joining on. Owen, good morning to you.
Morning, AJ. Yeah, like you said, we're live on YouTube and TikTok, so still trying to get some stuff figured out for X. We're not live on X today, but yeah, thanks to those of you who are just tuning in on this beautiful Friday morning. AJ, how's it going?
I am stunned because Jamie Pollard has announced his retirement. I mean, it literally happened 15, 20 minutes before we even came on the air. Uh, I am personally, if we just want to get right into it, because it literally just happened. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Big 12 Media Days, all different stuff. But I am shocked, like borderline, like unwell that he just did this. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. But to do this right at the cusp of Cyclone basketball excellence, and after you just hired a new football coach, is a really bad look. Like it's a really bad look. He hasn't been in the good graces of the fan base for a while. Uh, so let me get the positives real quick, and then I know you probably have some thoughts as well for him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yep.
But the positives first. This is the greatest era of Cyclone athletics ever. I mean, I think we can confidently say that. Yes, there was some success, with the Marcus Pfizer teams and with the Dan McCarney teams. But when Jamie Pollard came in 2005, it's the greatest era of Cyclone football ever. It's the greatest era of Cyclone basketball ever. Like it's second to none. So you have to give the man credit. You have to uh, give him his flowers because of what he did for Cyclone Nation. Um, and just the way that he supported the fan base, the way that he was for the people, the way that he, just in the Ames community at least cared about others and cared about even getting Jimmy Rogers here and TJ Otzelberger here. Um, that's about it in terms of the positives that you can say about Jamie Pollard. He's left. Here's what's interesting, though, and I want to hear your take. He's left a sour taste in the fan base's mouth, very similar to Matt Campbell. Very similar in how that all transpired with Matt Campbell, how he's treated Cyclone Nation on social media, how he's treated people basically not inside his bubble. It's been weird. It's been really weird.
It definitely
Um,
has. Yeah, yeah.
so I know you have some more thoughts because you've had a longer standing kind of frustration with this on X and social media. So the floor is yours if you want to say any positive things about Jamie Pollard, but then kind of where do you feel like his legacy will be now that he's officially announced this?
Yeah, I mean, look, like you said, this has been the greatest era of cycling athletics ever, and you can't deny that. You can't not give him credit for that. I think, I think people give Jamie more hate than he deserves, and that might be a bit of a hot take coming from me because there was a whole thing with the for those of you who don't know, we are our admins and our administration over there at Iowa State love to block people. We've known this. They love to block people on social media for no good reason. I know hundreds of people that have been blocked by the Iowa State men's basketball admin, Ryan Workman. That's who that is. So if you have any questions, contact him as to why you're blocked and you can't view your
And
favorite
shout out to
teams.
him. Shout out to him for unblocking a couple of us, but
Yeah,
there's
that's
still a
that's
lot of
that's
people out
great. That's good first steps, but you still, that's still there's still something and Jamie as well. Jamie G, I don't really think he even has a reason. He just straight up blocks everyone. He sees every burner, every fan. He's like, "Oh, block." And so there's probably thousands of people that are blocked on his X account, but other than that, from from purely an athletics standpoint, kind of side of things. He's done great. I mean, the Matt Campbell hire, that was a good hire. He's the best coach, Iowa State football coach in history, and so that proved to be a good hire. And Jimmy Rogers, to be determined. Like I'm not gonna say I think that was a good hire, but it's like I said, to be determined. It's not, nothing's in stone yet, nothing's written, so that's still down the road.
Yep.
And I think, like you hit on, the decision to retire, we knew this was coming. We knew that he was going to retire soon. It was just a matter of when. And I think after this year, I would have probably preferred if he'd given it another 2 years. But this is Jamie. This
Yeah.
is his terms. This is what is best for his life. Um, and so yeah, I'm not concerned. I think Iowa State had a great hire, hit it out of the park with hiring President David Cook. Um, I think he's much better than President Winterstein. No offense to Winterstein, but the things he's going to do, not just for the university but for athletics, he's more of an athletics kind of guy. He knows
Yep.
the importance of athletics. He knows how much it matters, and can probably take on the board of regents and the legal system in terms of revenue sharing and athletics department and university funding, et cetera, and all that stuff. But I think that was a great hire, and I think who he decides to hire as the next athletic director will be good. I really do. And Otts isn't going anywhere. Pollard leaving has really virtually no effect on that. If the guy that President Cook brings in is good and is able to keep giving him contracts and keep be buddies with him and whatnot, that's great. I'm not concerned about that. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think things change on the football side much as well. I think the Jimmy Rogers are he's I foresee him being here for a decent amount of time. I think he's going to do well. So yeah, it sucks that like I said, it's as soon, it's this year, after this year, but he wants to go out on his own terms. He's been doing this for a long time. So yeah, that's our breaking news for this morning, AJ. Unless you have anything else, I really don't have
Well,
much else going on.
here's the other thing, and we're live on TikTok and YouTube, so we got some fans commenting in. Appreciate you guys for that. Tommy Divine says, "Can ISU bring back the tornado logo, please?" And I think that's an interesting development. That's going to be interesting now too, because it was weird. When he came in right as Dan McCarney was fired. I don't even know to this day. I would need to find out more information on whether or not he had a say in Dan McCarney being fired, because no less than 6 years after that happened, after Jamie Pollard came on as athletic director, the Block Eye State logo came in, and I remember the news stories and just so many people like hearing like, why is Iowa State changing their logo? Other fan bases, the Iowa Hawkeyes fan base being like, why is Iowa State changing their logo? I mean, it was bad enough that arch rivals and other schools were like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
And so that will be another very intriguing development of this is, does Iowa State go back to what was good? Go back to the era that was great. You saw shout out Clones to the Bone over on X doing a little mock-up field. I don't know if you saw this, where the Iowa State Cynado was in the middle of the field with the current Iowa State football field.
Yeah.
Is that in the cards now? That Jamie Pollard's no longer going to be the athletic director? Because, and this is to your point of maybe why he's blocked people, there's been a lot of heat for the past 15 years.
It still doesn't give you the right to block half the fan base.
No,
like that's part of being an athletic
I'm just saying,
director is you got to take criticism from your fans, and by blocking all the
100%.
fans, that's
100%. But I wonder if that's what the majority of it has been, is, hey, bring this back. Like, bring back what was working. Like bring it back. The Cynado game last year against Kansas might be the cleanest uniform Iowa State's had since Seneca Wallace.
Those are really, I saw those in person, and they were sweet.
It was sick, man. Yeah. So
that's a great question by Tommy, and I should point out, I should say before we continue, the Cynado, it will not be the old Cynado. It would be the modern Cynado. It would be the one that they used on the logo decals on the helmets.
Which I'm okay with. which I'm
But
okay with
yeah,
because
yeah, and
the
I
old
think,
one
but
was
I do think
great.
there's some people that would prefer the old ones, but that I would not count on that happening. I would
Yeah,
count if there's going to be a logo change or anything, it would be the new ones.
the old one is great. It also has blue in it, which I never
Hmm.
understood. Like, why is that a secondary color for Iowa State?
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I don't like about that, but
I'm all in on it. If you look at even just, and we're about to talk about it, but it's actually a great transition into Big 12 Media Days this year.
we've got it on here on the banner. I've got
I mean,
some of the
guys,
detail. Look at that.
we're doing the hard work for you.
That thing
Like
is beautiful. Just look at it.
it's
Look at these.
pristine.
Oh,
It's
it's great.
pristine.
It's
So
great.
I just and we can now kind of talk about Big 12 Media Days because this was an aspect of it. When you show up to Dallas, Texas, I think it's at the Cowboy Stadium still, right?
Yeah,
has that changed?
very
Yeah,
well.
so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. You show up there as Iowa State, and yeah, it's a new era. Oh, Jimmy Rogers. Oh, you got two of your guys that you're bringing are transfers and all this different stuff, and everyone's picking you 16th out of 16, and you have not the Block Eye State helmet, not the black Block Eye State helmet, not the white Block Eye State helmet, the red script Cyclones. I almost fell out, dude. I almost dropped to my
I
knees in
don't I
excitement.
don't think we wore the Block Eye State helmet once last year, did we?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
remember it. I really
That,
don't.
that that's a
I
great
think
point, Owen.
we rolled with the Cyclone script the entire year, so the Block Eye might be dead on the helmets because
That's a great
Jimmy
point.
Rogers, they know that we don't like the Block Eye, and that the
Yep,
Cyclone one looks really cool. So that's just saying going forward that might be something a development.
yep. That is a great point. So I am very curious your thoughts on this because that all happened, and then you see Jimmy Rogers in his nice suit. You see all the Iowa State guys in their Cyclone uniforms, and you're like, wait a second. That's not normal. That's a little different because the primary uniform for your Iowa State Cyclones this year, according to the Big 12, script red Cyclones helmet, red uniform, white pants, the same uniform combo. Wait for it. As Sinado last year. The only thing different was the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
The whole uniform was
Yeah,
the
that's true.
exact same. So my
Mm-hmm.
question to you, Owen, is it a coincidence or is it fate
I don't
that
know.
in the same 2-week span or 7-day span of Iowa State being at Big 12 Media Days with no Block Eye States in sight, the only one I saw was a tiny pin on Jimmy Rogers' suit.
Oh boy.
Is it fate that happens? And today, less than a week later, Jamie Pollard announces his retirement. The Sinado might be back. It might be back this year for multiple
It
games.
might be here. Let me pull something up here.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Because I personally think that something massive is going on within Cyclone football, where SEMO game in September might be fireworks. What Iowa State comes out as their jersey.
There,
I mean,
there
look
it
at
is,
this.
guys. Look at
Look at
that.
this. This is the most beautiful helmet, maybe in college football last season. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, I was beyond belief that this actually happened. When you're making Twitter posts about a football helmet, it means something to people. It
Look at these
means
old
something.
ones.
That is the
Oh,
old
look.
one.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, those are
Those
the
look
old
sick
ones.
though.
So, but this is what I'm saying, man. Like, I think that what is going on is not nothing. I think that what is going on is a transformation, a renaissance to take us back as we transition into Big 12 Media Days. What are your thoughts on what you saw from the jerseys and the overall aura of the Cyclone logo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I could care less about uniforms and stuff, maybe as much as the average Cyclone fans do, until we start winning. Right now, I care about winning. Winning comes first. If we're winning 8, 9, 10 games a year, I'll talk about the uniforms every single minute of my day. But yeah, it's like AJ said. This is awesome. This is fun. I mean, Iowa State. Look, the Big 12 is very abundant and has a lot of abundance. It has a lot of variety. It is a fun conference, and there's a lot of teams with really good uniforms. Shout out to Central Florida. Their space uniforms. Their space U uniforms. Houston's blue uniforms. I guess they
Shout out to
launch
Central
rockets or
Florida.
something. They got like space centers down there. Those are sweet. I really like those. Houston's um they had like a blue. I can't remember if it was blue helmet or maybe it was white helmet with blue. Like at TCU, their uniform variation. There's a lot of different variations of uniforms in the Big 12. There's some really cool ones too. But
Yep.
Iowa State's, I would say, is the cleanest, the nicest, the sharpest uniforms from the helmet decals,
No
from the
disagreement from me.
numbers, the font. I love the font, just super clean. You have the all blacks, you have the white, black, white, you have the all whites. I mean, it's just awesome. And so, look
Yeah.
forward to seeing what the Cyclones run out in the Jack Trice Field, Jack Trice Stadium with this year. But
Yeah.
if we don't have anything else to hit on that with,
What?
we can go ahead
Yeah.
and start and talk about media days if that's
Well,
good
yeah. I
with
was
you.
gonna say, what were your thoughts overall on Iowa State's presence there? I mean, Cyclone Fanatic did some great work. Shout out to Chris Williams and Jake Brengan. A lot of good interviews.
Yeah.
Getting to know the guys a little bit, I think, was fun as
Hmm.
well. But yeah, what were some of your takeaways just from what you saw, and just kind of maybe some positive things that you're excited about as a Cyclone fan, and some other things where it's just like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, and shout out to them. I mean, they do. That's good. I'm glad they were able to go down there and just talk, not just to former players like Conradi and Flora, but Rayner and Bobby Terrell. Like just getting to know these guys. That's the biggest thing
His
because
nickname's the best, by the way.
I know
His nickname is awesome.
because I mean the whole roster's new, and so once you get to know these guys, I mean I think they're great guys. I think their personalities are great. Like once you get to talk to them and kind of get a feel for who they are, it's going to be great. And I think Iowa State's presence there was known but not felt, and I say that in the
Yep.
best way possible. But like AJ said, Iowa State is being picked dead last in almost every single Big 12 preseason poll.
Yep.
And Jimmy Rogers said that doesn't matter to him. He doesn't pay attention. I mean, he probably sees it, but he probably doesn't care. He doesn't pay
Yep.
attention. He doesn't it doesn't really affect him. Uses as a motivator. Uses it as motivation for him and his team. Like they're counting us out. They're counting us out as far as they can throw us, and that's
Yep.
that's 16. And so I think Iowa State, the players they took down there, um, someone notable, David Coffey. They took him down there, and he was one of the guys that they were able to hold over from the Campbell staff along with Flora and
Yep.
Conradi. But he was injured for most of the season last year, but he was healthy at some points, and he showed it. I mean, he looked pretty good. He had flashes, and so it'll be interesting to see how he pans out, how he does. So
Yep.
yeah, I think the the interviews that they had with Rogers, how he described his teams, how he described the way they play, fast, physical, fly around, stuff like that. Words and phrases like that is good to hear. Um, and when you compare that to Matt Campbell and the way he talked about things, it's different. It's very different. And
Yep.
I think Rogers approached it with more of a straight on football mindset, football talk. Just we're gonna do this, and this is how we're gonna win. He doesn't go on and on about culture or players or anything like that. Not that that's wrong or not that that's a bad thing to talk about, but just the way that he talks, I'm loving it. It's great. And so
Yeah.
I think the Big 12 media days as a whole, and I'll let you give your take on this. It was interesting. It was very interesting. Your mark, he went in there and right from the cannon fire, they're talking about Brendan Sorsby. They're asking him about Brendan Sorsby, and he shuts it down. He's like, "We're not going to talk about this. We're here
We're
to
done
talk
talking
about
about it.
the 16 teams." And I can hit on Texas Tech as well, my recent opinion on them. But there was a reporter who asked a question. I think this was the highlight. The
Wait.
highlight.
Let me do mine.
The Oh my gosh, this stole the show, and he asked about tortilla toss. So Texas Tech fans, they got in trouble for tossing tortillas onto the field
First,
among
okay.
other
First of all,
things.
when you start a question like that, all like all bets are off, dude. Like I don't want to hear the rest of the question if you start a question like that. Continue.
And he talked about the Oklahoma State the paddle pop or whatever they give them paddles, and I don't know. I mean, well, for starters, to give 10,000 hillbilly fans a bunch of wooden paddles is probably not a good idea to begin with. So I think it's valid that he bring that up. Then he referenced that to the Brendan Sorsby thing, and he was like, there was a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit against Texas Tech, and nothing against Cincinnati. And I think that part of the question, was good. So I don't think his question as a whole was the best, but I think it was reasonable. I think it was
Yeah.
valid when you look at kind of the way the Big 12 approached it.
Yeah.
It was gonna get asked. It like you can tell these people, hey, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to ask these questions, and they're still gonna ask. They're gonna twist it, and they're gonna change it a little bit to make it a little different. But your mark, it pissed him off. It made him really mad. You could just tell he was mad. He didn't like that question. He went over and he asked him to stand up.
Stand up.
Stand
Stand
up.
up.
And from that moment, when you hear him say, stand up and ask me again, you're like, oh gosh. So he stands up. He asks him the question again. And he has a speech impediment. So for those of
Yep.
you who saw, that is a speech impediment. For those of you
Yes.
making fun of that, that's not cool. That's don't do that. Um, but yeah, he asked a question again, and your mark. What do you even say? Like, I that is not what I said. You misquoted that. Thank you for the question. Said, like, his response was horrible. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, I don't even know. It was really weird. I think it was a bad look, a bad
Really bad look.
move by your mark. And I don't know. It almost seemed like he was trying to almost bully the guy, or make him look stupid, or make him look dumb for asking that question. And it didn't work. So he just made a fool out of himself. Really, is what he did.
Yep.
He just looked stupid. And I'll be honest. I think Yormark's a good. I think he's done a good job. But I think if the Big 12 does not win a playoff game in the next 2 seasons, they need to fire him. They need to get him out, because
Wow.
that needs to like I'm serious. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot go 4 years deep in the 12-team playoff and not win a single playoff game. So if that happens, he needs to be fired. I don't care where basketball's at. I don't care if there's three Big 12 teams in the final. I don't care. That doesn't matter. Big 12 has
Wow.
brands. The Big 12 basketball isn't good because of your mark and his glass courts. It's good because we have brands. We have Kansas. We have Arizona. We have Houston. We have Iowa State. It doesn't matter. So that's my take on the whole thing. Monster, another thing we should maybe head on. Monster, they announced a partnership with Monster, which
What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a terrible deal. They got a horrible deal. $20 million for 16 schools. That's like 1.2 million each year.
It's not. It's
That's
not even
they
the best
got
energy
they
drink.
got
Like what?
lowballed bad on that. I mean, that I was like, at first I saw the Big 12 is partnering with Monster. Like, okay, that's okay. I don't drink Monster. I know Monster's controversial in some stuff, but and then I looked at the numbers like, oh my gosh, we screwed up bad here. What are we doing in Big 12? But I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't. It's gonna have an influence on games. They're gonna have it like they're gonna incorporate the Monster logo with the Big 12 logo now. There's gonna be some. They're gonna merge it somehow, and they're gonna have it on, stadiums and fields and whatever. So I don't know, AJ. What is your whole take on not just the media days, but that whole thing?
It's not even the best energy drink. Like what? If you're at least gonna if you're gonna pick a brand, at least pick one that's like tasty and good.
Monster
Like,
is bad for you. It's so bad for you. Like of
we're
all
picking
energy
the
drinks.
we're picking the objectively worst energy drink on
Yeah,
the
out of
market
all,
right now.
shout out. My favorite energy drink is Full Throttle. Shout out to Full Throttle. We would be
Not a sponsor
sponsorship.
yet.
Just
Yeah.
saying, not yet. If you guys, we would love to sponsor. That's the best. The citrus is the best. I drink it every day. But Monster, it sucks. It's not good for you. Yeah,
Celsius is great. Like
yeah.
there's some good energy drinks out there. We're we're going to first of all, are we Sid from Toy Story? Like, are we just gonna go on with this weird logo and like we're gonna have like this really like cool and we're gonna be big boys now. And we're gonna have this
It's from
cool
Toy
M.
Story. God.
Like that's just what it feels like, man. Like I feel like I just feel like someone that shops at Walmart all the time. Like I'm going in and getting a Monster. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? So I just yeah. My quick take on that is it doesn't make sense.
No,
If
it
you're gonna
doesn't.
do a sponsorship, do one that makes sense. Like Iowa State, sponsored by Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee's on the headsets. Quality sponsor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Monster. Like where are we going with this? What's next? I think your Brett Yormark take is very interesting. I don't hate it. I would give him a longer leash because of what the Big 12 basketball's done, but I don't hate it with what you're saying about Big 12 football. I think that there needs to be a reckoning of whatever Big 12 team wins the conference this year to do something. To win, just win a playoff game. Can we please win a playoff game? Like, Arizona State, props to you. Cam Scatterby, I'll never forgive you for what you did to my team.
We should have
but
won that game, honestly.
props
At
to
least
you, yeah,
Arizona
for
State represented us
beating
better in the playoffs than Texas Tech did. Texas Tech fans want to act like they run the conference and the Big 12 wouldn't be good without us. You didn't
Iowa
do
State,
anything. You didn't freaking do anything. You didn't.
Iowa State
You
football
lost
has
23 to nothing.
Iowa State football has as many points in the college football playoff as Texas Tech.
Yeah. They didn't
They
do
do.
anything when it mattered. So
Like
so what? You whooped BYU and stopped them from getting contention because you just beat the crap out of them, and you kept running up the score, and then you went and lost to Oregon 23 to nothing. So Cody Campbell, you and your $60 million football rosters and trying to tell everyone, well, you need to spend more money on football. You just went to show that you can spend millions upon millions of dollars on a roster and get absolutely nowhere on the national stage. Nowhere. So
I,
you have zero right to criticize, chastise, or talk to us about stuff like that.
I'm shocked how quickly Chris Williams made a good point on his Twitter. I'm shocked how quickly Texas Tech has fallen from grace in Big 12 fans' minds. I mean, think about what happened with Texas during those final tumultuous years of Texas football in the Big 12. They were bullies. And they weren't even good. Like it's like the kid at your school. It's just a bully for no reason because he's not athletic and he's not good at anything. That's what Texas football was.
Yeah.
Texas Tech's the same way. They think that they're too good for the Big 12 and they're better than this, and we're gonna ask questions about why Cincinnati doesn't have a lawsuit, which is a good question, but compare it to tortillas and paddles. Come on, man. Like, and Jake Brenn made a good point too. Again, the Cycle Fanatic guys did some great work in media days. He talked about his interactions with Texas Tech media shows just how weird it is right now with them in the Big 12. Like, they don't like each other, guys. They don't like each other. And honestly, I'm on your Mark's side. I am. Because Texas Tech did not do themselves any favors by taking on the Swordsby situation. We talked about all that. If you want to see all our thoughts on it, we did it on a different pod. But I'm on your Mark's side. Now, do I think he handled the question poorly? Of course. But it's a lose-lose situation. If he attacks it and says, this is why they didn't do that, then everyone's like, well, that seems a little harsh. If he does what he did, everyone's like, well, he's kind of avoiding the issue. He can't win in that situation. But what Texas Tech did is they put themselves in a bucket now where you got to go ball out this year. Because if you don't back it up and you don't prove that you're the best team in the Big 12, by the way, you got a third-string quarterback that's going to start. I don't want to hear Will Hammond start. Will Hammond is not Patrick Mahomes. Will Hammond's not going to be 2 months ahead of his rehab and going to be playing football in September. Stop it.
Sticky situation with that.
You have a third-string FCS quarterback starting week 1. And he's probably got to start the first month of the season. So, I'm sick of Texas Tech fans. I'm sick of Texas Tech football. I don't know why, after 1 year, maybe this makes sense because Hawkeye fans and Denver Bronco fans are like this too, just from my standpoint of being a Chiefs and Cyclones fan. Where after one season, you think you're, like, the best thing. Like, why has that happened more recently? Like, why is it we have one good year, no matter how fluky it is, and we're good now? What? What? That doesn't make any sense. You can't base the future of your football program off 12 games. You just can't.
You can't.
You can be excited about it. You can be excited about the future of it. But you can't in good conscience say, this
when
is
Alabama was winning the national championship every year, they could go into that next season and say, we're going to win the national championship.
Yeah, because they had the trajectory of it. So, But again, we gave a lot more thoughts on Texas Tech and everything on a separate pod if you want to go check it out. But in terms of media days from Iowa State's perspective, you make a great point that they were, I forgot how you phrased it, they were seen but not felt. Like, I think that is a great way to put it, because this new era of Cyclone football is just that. We heard it from Tyler Roll on the pod earlier this week. Like, they are going to have to prove to the world that they belong in college football and in the Big 12. One of my favorite quotes of the entire media day was Jimmy Rogers in that kind of candid interview, so it wasn't the official like ESPNU interview, where he said, look, like, and I tweeted this out if you want to go follow us over at Cyclone Kingdom, but like he said, look, like I'm one that wants to prove people wrong. That's how I've been my entire life. Some people aren't that way, but we're gonna discuss it, and we're gonna discuss what, like, being 16 out of 16, and then he said this, and I thought it was awesome. I was so fired up. He was like, people don't know you. This is him talking to his players, to reporters, like, through his players' perspective. He's like, I have to tell my guys, like, people don't know you. Like, they have no clue who this team is. You have to go show them who you are. That's what you want to hear from your football coach. Like the coach speakiness of just, and again, we appreciate Matt Campbell, but his coach speakiness of be the best version of yourself, and we're just gonna attack it day by day, and our goal isn't to win Big 12 championships. Jimmy Rogers went the exact opposite direction in one media day, and it was beautiful. He said, look, my goal is to win a national championship. I know that might seem far-fetched, blah, blah, blah. My goal is to win a national championship. We need to prove to people who we are. We need to show people what Iowa State football is about. Like, that's what we need. If he can back it up and be a good coach with the personality he already has, man, we will forget about Matt Campbell next year. It can happen that fast. Now, I think it'll take a couple more years. I don't think, and we'll go into our full season preview, like record predictions and stuff, in a couple weeks, but I don't think Iowa State's going to be that this year. Although, shout out to that Big 12 coach that picked Iowa State over BYU in the conference championship game. I thought that was awesome.
I don't know. Do you know who that was by chance?
I have no clue. I think they're staying anonymous for a reason, but it was hilarious. I was like, wow. I don't think they're going to be that this year. But what they can do is they can provide Cyclone Nation with this notion of, we're going to compete and we're going to be in games. We're not just going to get blown out by everybody. And I think that's important. Yeah. So in terms of the whole media day, you mentioned David Coffey. that dude might be a superstar, man. Like that dude might be a superstar. He was kind of hiding in the shadows behind Jontez Williams and Jeremiah Cooper last year because we had a loaded cornerback room. David Coffey's really good, guys. Keep in mind he was recruited by Matt Campbell. Aiden Floor recruited by Matt Campbell. Like uh, Kyle Conradi recruited by Matt Campbell. Like these are guys that were still in the building, and so I'm personally excited for that. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, Cyclone football is fun for people in Ames because it provides you with this sense of like we might be okay because people care and people care about the university and care about the school. So overall, I thought Media Days was a huge success. Getting to know some of the guys we've never met before, and then just being excited for Jalen Rayner. I think he's got a lot of potential, and yeah, who knows what might happen with him. But so I'm looking forward to that. So with that, let's finish today with a little coaching staff preview. So Owen, you can go in any direction you want with this, but what I'm thinking of is kind of the main three coaches. So you got Jimmy Rogers, offensive coordinator Tyler Roll, which again we had in the podcast, and then defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt. Obviously, there's other coaches on the staff that we appreciate, and we're not sliding them at all. But we want to give some love to the main three guys that are going to be leading this new charge of Cyclone football. How do you feel about the coaching staff? You know, what kind of confidence level do you have in them going into year one?
Yeah, I think the staff that they were able to bring in and hire was good. I think Jimmy Rogers is a good hire. We've said this thousands of times. We think is a good hire from Washington State, and then at one point South Dakota State won a national championship at South Dakota State. But it's really what he did at Washington State that makes this year not a rebuilding year. That's why he says it's not a rebuild year to him. That's not how he sees it. That's not how he views it. And it's because he took a roster of 70 new players at a team with no conference, with 1/3 the money and NIL spending as Iowa State, and went 7-6. Had to play Washington, James Madison, Virginia, North Texas, Ole Miss, and he almost beat most of those teams.
Yeah.
So to think he was 2 points from beating Virginia. He was 2 or 4 points or whatever it was from beating JMU, and 3 points from beating Ole Miss is insane. Like they could have gone 8-5 or 9-4 or 10-3, but the competitiveness, the way that they competed over there, it just shows the heart, the spirit, and the mindset of their players. And it was driven by an engine on defense named Jesse Bobbitt. Jesse Bobbitt's defense in Washington State finished 26th in the country last year, according to ESPN. Allowed just 20 points a game. Held Ole Miss, like I said, to 24 points, Virginia to 22, James Madison to 20. Yeah, there were games, the Washington game, they lost that by like 30 points. But going into halftime, it was almost tied. It was neck and neck. Same thing for North Texas. And so the kind of energy that Jesse Bobbitt will bring on defense, I think, is great. I mean, and this is coming from, a fan who grew up in the 3-3-5, who watched a 3-3-5 and knows that they're moving to a 4-2-5 or a 4-3, whatever it is. And I'm honestly excited about it. I am. I think that is the Big 12 is not the Big 10. It's not a running conference, but you are gonna play teams in the Big 12 with really good running backs, really good offensive lines. And Iowa State, they're gonna play Utah. Their offensive line is always really good. BYU, I mean, they have. I think L.J. Martin was his name. He was just named the offensive preseason player of the year, I think. So
Yeah.
they're going to face some really good running backs. And you look at the guys they brought in the portal on defensive line. They brought in a lot of Washington State guys. Caden Crawford from South Dakota. He's an FCS All American over there. They brought in Blake Hawkins from Iowa Western. His stats, I know it's JUCO, but look at his stats. His stats were crazy insane.
Yep.
And then, like we mentioned earlier, Isaac Bobby Terrell, then Max Baywin,
Boutte.
Jack Janikowski, all those guys. And then to hold over guys like Zamir Hawk and, Jace Gilbert, or was it Jace Gilbert or Traver Don, maybe? I don't know. I can't
Traver
remember.
Don, yep.
Guys from the previous staff. I think the defensive line is going to be good. It really is. And then the linebackers, you kind of get a little bit smaller, but faster linebackers, and which fits well when you have a 4-man front. It doesn't fit well when you have a 3-man front, because in a 3-man front you need those big giant linebackers to go and clog those holes. Because if the running back does get through, one of the B gaps, you don't want that big running. You don't want LJ Martin against a 6 foot, 190, 200 pound line. You want him against a big linebacker like a Cooper Ebel or Brazilian or whatever. But because you have that 4-man front, they're not going to be able to get through as easy. And to force it in this whole build the defense around the fast small linebackers ideology is to force teams to run the ball side to side. It's to force them to spread the field, which when you have fast linebackers like Carson Willick and Bo Goodwin and Tristan Exline and Montrezl Smith, I think it's going to work really well. And then you look at the secondary. Obviously, Braden Alls is out for the season. Terrible loss. Sucks that he went down. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that doesn't happen again. Hopefully, we don't have any more injuries. I don't care if it's to a third stringer. Like, we don't. Iowa State deserves the next 5 years of Cyclone athletics injury free. That's just what we deserve, honestly.
Yep.
And so yeah, I think the defense will be what holds this team together, and I think it's going to be what keeps this team in a lot of games. And because if you do have those offensive struggles, if you struggle to run the ball against a team, or you struggle to pass the ball against a team, where do you turn to? Well, you turn to your defense to get stops. You turn to your defense to keep the game under control, to keep it from getting out of hand. And I think Iowa State, like I said, I think Iowa State's going to have that this year. And then just to hit on the special teams real quick, Iowa State. Phil Steele, I was reading my magazine, and I got to the previews, the unit rankings. So he does unit rankings of every position group in the country.
Yep.
And I get to special teams, and I'm like, all right, Iowa State probably isn't going to rank very high in all the other ones, but I'm gonna go right to special teams. And Iowa State isn't even top 65. Like,
With the
what?
best kicker in the country.
Like, what? Not even
Yeah.
top 65 in the country?
Yeah.
Iowa's number 6? Like, I was just shocked. Like, what are we doing, Phil Steele? I burned the magazine. I burned it. I don't want it anymore. I don't want it.
Oh my god.
It was absolutely insane. Like, and we're not an Iowa podcast, but they're our rivals. So just a quick comparison here. Iowa lost their kicker, their punter, their kick returner, their punt returner, their long snapper, and their coach, their special teams coach. So they have a brand new special teams. And they're just saying, oh, they're always good at special teams, so they're automatically top. No, that's not how it works, Phil Steele. That's not how it works. And you can put him top 20, top 30, or whatever, but you can't bank on that and put him number 6 in the country and not even have Iowa State in there at all. Like, Iowa State, we have a better kicker than Iowa, who happens to be Iowa's daddy, Aiden Flora. Look at Aiden Flora last year. I mean, the dude come week 2, he did really good in the Kansas State game. He flew down there and caused a fumble on the first play, but then look at the punt returns he had against South Dakota. He almost took two to the house, and he got injured, and he was out for like the rest of the year. Came back to the TCU game, took one back to the house. Aiden Flora is the next big punt returner slash kick returner in the state of Iowa. Sorry, Iowa. Cade Weegen's gone. Aiden Flora's in the house, and he will be
Yep.
going to the house a lot this year. And so
Yep.
I don't know. That was shocking. I really this off season has not been great. To be an Iowa State fan for Iowa State fans in general, but I think the best is yet to come, and I think a really good year one with his staff and with Jimmy Rogers would help kind of soothe the pain and the heartbreak that the Iowa State fans have been enduring for the past year. So AJ, what are your thoughts on maybe Coach Roll and Bobbitt and all those guys
Yep.
and whatnot?
Dude, it took you 12 episodes, but you finally got in your bag a little bit. That was impressive. That's a standing ovation. That's a standing ovation from
I appreciate
from,
it. Thank you.
from this. Yeah, no, I mean that was great. Like that was kind of a full team preview of how the coaching staff's gonna be able to work with those guys and all those things. So yeah, in terms of Tyler Roll, like I think that here's what I'll say. His mindset about the team that we heard in the pod earlier this week, it's not going to matter this year because you have a brand new roster. It will matter next year. It will matter in 2028. Like, keeping him around is vital to Iowa State's success. Do I think they're going to have a lot of success this year? No. I would cry real tears if they did because it would be amazing. It'd be one of the coolest stories in college football. But what I do think is that what Tyler Roll brings is competitiveness and physicality back to Iowa State. Or I guess not back to Iowa State, but it continues it at Iowa State because Iowa State's been a really good competitive football team. I mean, won your Six Bowl. I mean, the whole Matt Campbell era was incredible. So having him on the staff is important. Jesse Bobbitt, I'm very curious to see how he's going to develop because he is such a younger guy. He had a chance at Washington State, but this is like, sorry, Washington State, but like this is big boy football now. Like, can he win? Can he keep us in games? Like, I'll be honest, I don't want to go back to losing 70-7 to Baylor or to Texas Tech or whatever it is. Like, I think the defense is going to keep us in games, but I think that there's also potential for it to go the other way in a negative way. And so Jesse Bobbitt's really going to have to bow up and be like, listen, boys, like, our offense is kind of going through some growing pains this year. We're going to need to play well. And so, yeah, so I'm excited overall. Jimmy, obviously, we've talked about him. I mean, he's the perfect man for the moment, perfect man for the job. Going from seeing him hired the same night Matt Campbell leaves and being like, who the heck is this guy, to being like over the moon excited about him. So you gave a lot of the great thoughts already. So in terms of my confidence level, like we're doing this over on our YouTube channel, but in terms like if I was to rank it 1 to 10, right, in terms of confidence level going to next season, 1 being like 0 confidence and 10 being like we can go win the Big 12, it's about a 5. I think that's a normal place for it to be with like a lot of guys that haven't proved anything yet. But there's optimism. There's great optimism. And again, Cyclone Nation, it's like, it's not about this year. It's about 2027 and 2028. Obviously, you want to be competitive this year. Obviously, you want to be Iowa this year. All different stuff. It's pushing forward to this 2027 class that is still top 50 in the country. Like, I mean, they're doing great work. They're doing great work. So, overall, excited about the coaching staff. Excited to get football going soon. I mean, less than 2 months away. Like, give me football, man. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. So, and any final thoughts you got before we close it out?
No, not really. We're probably going to be live early next week, so yeah, I'll look forward
So this
to
will
that,
be
hopefully.
this will be live on YouTube from now on, guys. So it's on Cyclone Kingdom's YouTube channel right now, but we'll try to figure out to get it on Cyclone Central. If
And
not
hopefully we
that,
get it back on X. We'll hopefully have it back on X.
Yep,
at
we'll
some
look
point,
forward to
so.
having it back on X. But make sure you follow us on all our socials. Rate and review the podcast too. We're on podcast platforms as well. If you guys want to go check that out. But yeah, you guys won't have to wait for the episode to be in your feeds now. It'll be in your feeds immediately on YouTube, on X as we share it out, and then you guys will be able to hear it as you listen to your podcast as well. So, looking forward to it next week, guys. We got a fun pod ahead. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's all I'll say. That's the only tease I'm going to give. So, as always, he's Owen Kenny. I'm AJ Caldwell. We appreciate you guys, and roll clones.
Roll clones, baby.